Your doctor probably told you to avoid sugar, watch your carbs, and take your medication on time. But did anyone ever sit down and explain which specific foods can actually help your body fight back against diabetes complications? I'm not talking about vague advice like eat more vegetables. I'm talking about 3 specific foods that research shows can help protect your nerves, support your heart, stabilize your blood sugar, and maybe even improve some of those frustrating symptoms you've been dealing with. Here's what most physicians don't have time to explain during those quick 15-minute appointments. Your body is constantly trying to repair damage caused by elevated blood sugar. It's working overtime to protect your nerve cells, keep your blood vessels flexible, and maintain healthy insulin function. But it can only do these jobs if it has the right raw materials. Think of it like trying to fix a house. You need specific tools and materials. A hammer won't help if you need a screwdriver, and nails are useless if what you really need is wood. The 3 foods we're discussing today provide exactly what your body needs to manage diabetes more effectively. And before you worry that I'm about to recommend expensive superfoods you've never heard of, relax. These are common foods available at any grocery store in America. You've probably walked past them 100 times without realizing their potential. Before we dive in, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. It helps us reach more people who need this information. And drop a comment telling me whether you've been diagnosed with diabetes for less than 5 years or more than 5 years. I'm curious about the experience level of people watching this video. Let's start with the first food that could make a real difference in how you feel and how well your diabetes is controlled. The first food might surprise you because it's been unfairly demonized for decades. I'm talking about whole eggs, and I mean the entire egg yolk and all. For years, doctors warned that eggs would raise your cholesterol and increase your heart disease risk. That advice has been thoroughly debunked by modern research, but the fear lingers in many people's minds, especially among older adults who heard those warnings repeated for decades. Here's what the science actually shows now. Eggs are one of the most complete protein sources available, containing all 9 essential amino acids in exactly the proportions your body needs. This matters tremendously for people with diabetes because elevated blood sugar and insulin resistance interfere with how your muscles use protein. Many diabetics, especially older adults, gradually lose muscle mass over time, a condition called sarcopenia. This muscle loss makes you weaker, increases fall risk, and actually worsens blood sugar control, because muscle tissue is where most glucose gets stored and burned for energy. Think about what happens when you eat a meal heavy in carbohydrates without adequate protein. Your blood sugar spikes, your pancreas pumps out insulin, and that glucose needs somewhere to go. If you don't have sufficient healthy muscle tissue to absorb it, more of that glucose stays circulating in your bloodstream or gets converted to fat. But when you eat protein-rich foods like eggs, several beneficial things happen simultaneously. First, protein slows down digestion, which means any carbohydrates you eat with that meal get absorbed more gradually. This prevents the sharp blood sugar spikes that damage your blood vessels and nerves over time. Second, the amino acids in eggs signal your pancreas to release glucagon, a hormone that works opposite to insulin and helps stabilize blood sugar levels. Third, protein requires more energy to digest than carbohydrates or fat, slightly boosting your metabolism. And fourth, high-quality protein helps maintain and even build muscle tissue, especially when combined with resistance exercise, giving your body more metabolic capacity to handle glucose effectively. But eggs provide much more than just protein. The yolk, which many people mistakenly throw away, contains a compound called choline. Most Americans don't get nearly enough choline, and it's absolutely critical for nerve health. Remember how I mentioned diabetes damages nerves? That's called diabetic neuropathy, and it causes tingling, numbness, burning pain, and loss of sensation, usually starting in the feet and gradually progressing upward. Choline helps build the protective coating around nerve fibers, similar to insulation around electrical wires. Without adequate choline, those nerve signals don't transmit properly, and damage accumulates faster. Egg yolks also contain lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 antioxidants that concentrate in your retina and protect against diabetic retinopathy, which is one of the leading causes of blindness in older adults. Many diabetics worry about losing their vision, and rightfully so. But consistently eating foods rich in these protective compounds can help preserve your eyesight as you age. Let me address the cholesterol concern directly because I know some of you are thinking about it right now. Yes, egg yolks contain dietary cholesterol, but here's what research has clearly established. For most people, dietary cholesterol has minimal impact on blood cholesterol levels. Your liver produces most of the cholesterol in your body, and it adjusts production based on how much you eat. When you eat more cholesterol from food, your liver makes less. When you eat less cholesterol, your liver makes more to maintain what your body needs. What actually damages your arteries isn't dietary cholesterol. It's oxidized cholesterol and chronic inflammation, both of which are driven primarily by high blood sugar, processed foods, smoking, and lack of exercise. In fact, eggs contain phospholipids that actually help protect your blood vessels from inflammation and may improve your cholesterol profile. Multiple large studies have found that eating up to 1 egg per day has no association with increased heart disease risk in most people, and some research suggests eggs may actually reduce risk by improving HDL cholesterol, which is the protective kind. So how should you eat eggs to maximize their benefits for diabetes? First, don't overcook them. Scrambled eggs cooked at very high heat or fried in processed vegetable oils can damage some of the beneficial nutrients and create inflammatory compounds. Better options include soft-boiled eggs, poached eggs, or gently scrambled eggs cooked in butter or olive oil at moderate temperature. Here's a simple breakfast idea that combines eggs with other diabetes-friendly foods. Make a vegetable frittata using 2 or 3 eggs, spinach, mushrooms, onions, and bell peppers. Cook it in olive oil and season with herbs like basil or oregano. Serve it with half an avocado on the side. This meal provides high-quality protein, healthy fats, fiber, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. It will keep you full for hours, won't spike your blood sugar, and gives your body nutrients it needs to protect against complications. How many eggs should you eat? For most diabetics without specific contraindications, 2 to 3 whole eggs per day is perfectly safe and beneficial. If you have familial hypercholesterolemia, which is a genetic condition affecting cholesterol metabolism, or if your doctor has specifically told you to limit eggs due to your individual lipid panel results, then follow that guidance. But for the vast majority of people with type 2 diabetes, eggs are an excellent food choice. One more benefit worth mentioning: eggs are incredibly affordable compared to most protein sources. Even organic, pasture-raised eggs, which contain higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids and vitamins, typically cost less per serving than meat or fish. If you're on a fixed income or Medicare, eggs give you tremendous nutritional value without breaking your budget. Let me hear from you in the comments. Do you currently eat eggs regularly? If not, what's been holding you back? Is it old concerns about cholesterol, or do you just not enjoy eggs? I'm curious what barriers exist for people. Now let's talk about the second food that can significantly help diabetics manage their condition. This one is a category of foods rather than a single item, but they share similar nutritional properties that make them powerful for diabetes management. I'm talking about tree nuts, specifically almonds, walnuts, pecans, and pistachios. Like eggs, nuts have been unfairly criticized because they're high in fat and calories. Many diabetics avoid them, thinking they'll cause weight gain or worsen their condition. The opposite is actually true. Research consistently shows that people who regularly eat moderate amounts of nuts have better blood sugar control, lower A1C levels, less inflammation, and reduced risk of heart disease compared to those who avoid nuts. Let me explain what's happening at the cellular level when you eat nuts. Despite being calorie-dense, nuts are incredibly satiating, meaning they make you feel full and satisfied. This happens because of their unique combination of protein, fiber, and healthy fats. When you eat a handful of almonds as a snack, your stomach doesn't empty as quickly as it would if you ate crackers or pretzels. The fat in nuts triggers the release of hormones that signal fullness to your brain, reducing your appetite for hours afterward. Multiple studies have found that people who snack on nuts end up eating fewer total calories throughout the day compared to people who snack on carbohydrate-based foods, even though nuts themselves contain more calories per gram. It's a perfect example of how calorie counting alone doesn't tell the whole story about how food affects your body. The quality and composition of those calories matters enormously. For blood sugar control specifically, nuts have what's called a very low glycemic index, meaning they have minimal impact on your blood sugar levels. But their benefit goes beyond just not raising blood sugar. When you eat nuts with other foods, they actually slow down the absorption of carbohydrates from those foods. So if you eat an apple by itself, your blood sugar will rise more than if you eat that same apple with a handful of almonds. The fat and fiber in the almonds delay gastric emptying and carbohydrate digestion, creating a more gradual, gentler rise in blood glucose. Different types of nuts offer slightly different benefits. Walnuts are particularly high in alpha-linolenic acid, which is a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid that reduces inflammation and supports brain health. many diabetics struggle with brain fog, memory issues, and increased risk of dementia. The anti-inflammatory effects of walnuts may help protect cognitive function as you age. Some research also suggests walnuts can improve the flexibility of blood vessels, which is important because diabetes tends to make arteries stiffer and less responsive. Almonds are rich in vitamin E, which is a powerful antioxidant that protects cells from oxidative damage. Remember, high blood sugar creates oxidative stress throughout your body, essentially causing rust-like damage to your cells, nerves, and blood vessels. Vitamin E helps neutralize these harmful compounds before they can cause permanent damage. Almonds also contain magnesium, and as we discussed in other videos, many diabetics are deficient in this crucial mineral that helps insulin work more effectively. Pistachios have been specifically studied for their effects on blood sugar control. Research shows that eating pistachios with high carbohydrate meals significantly reduces the blood sugar spike that would otherwise occur. They also contain compounds that may improve how your pancreas responds to blood sugar changes, potentially helping preserve insulin production over time. One interesting study found that people with pre-diabetes who ate pistachios daily had improvements in insulin resistance and reductions in A1C levels. Pecans are loaded with antioxidants and have been shown to reduce LDL cholesterol oxidation. This matters because oxidized LDL is what actually damages artery walls and contributes to plaque buildup. Simply having elevated LDL isn't necessarily dangerous if it's not oxidized. Pecans help prevent that oxidation process, potentially reducing cardiovascular risk, which is critically important since heart disease is the leading cause of death among people with diabetes. The research on nuts and heart health is particularly compelling. One large analysis that combined data from multiple studies found that people who ate nuts regularly had a 29% lower risk of heart disease and a 21% lower risk of dying from any cause compared to people who rarely ate nuts. For diabetics who already face elevated cardiovascular risk, these protective effects are substantial. Nuts also support nerve health through multiple mechanisms. They contain B vitamins that are essential for nerve function and repair. They provide magnesium, which helps regulate nerve signal transmission. And they offer anti-inflammatory fats that reduce nerve damage. While nuts won't cure diabetic neuropathy, they're part of an overall dietary pattern that can slow progression and potentially reduce symptoms. How much should you eat? The research typically shows benefits with about 1 ounce per day, which is roughly a small handful, or about 23 almonds, 14 walnut halves, 19 pecan halves, or 49 pistachios. This provides about 160 to 200 calories, which might seem like a lot, but remember, these calories come with tremendous nutritional value and will likely reduce your intake of less healthy foods. The best way to incorporate nuts into your diet is as a replacement for less nutritious snacks, rather than as an addition to everything you're already eating. Instead of chips or cookies in the afternoon, have nuts. Instead of croutons on your salad, add chopped walnuts. Instead of breadcrumbs on chicken, use crushed almonds as a coating. These simple substitutions improve the nutritional quality of your meals without requiring complicated recipes or expensive ingredients. Buy plain, unsalted nuts when possible. Many flavored or honey-roasted nuts contain added sugars and unhealthy oils that negate some of the benefits. Raw or dry roasted nuts are your best options. And here's a money-saving tip. Buy nuts in bulk from warehouse stores or wait for sales at regular grocery stores. Transfer them to airtight containers or zip-top bags and store them in your refrigerator or freezer. This prevents them from going rancid and allows you to stock up when prices are low. One caution for people with advanced kidney disease. Nuts contain potassium and phosphorus, which can be problematic if kidney function is severely impaired. If you're seeing a nephrologist for kidney disease, check with them about appropriate nut intake. But for most people with diabetes who have normal or mildly reduced kidney function, nuts are perfectly safe and beneficial. Drop a comment and let me know which nuts you prefer. Are you more of an almond person or a walnut person? Or maybe you've been avoiding nuts altogether. Let me know your thoughts. Now for the third food category that can make a meaningful difference in diabetes management. These are even less expensive than nuts, incredibly versatile, and packed with nutrients that specifically target diabetes-related problems. I'm talking about seeds, particularly chia seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, and sunflower seeds. If you've never paid much attention to seeds, you're missing out on some of the most nutrient-dense foods available. These tiny packages contain everything a plant needs to grow, which means they're concentrated sources of protein, healthy fats, fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Let's start with chia seeds and flax seeds, which share similar nutritional properties. Both are exceptional sources of fiber, providing about 10 grams per ounce. To put that in perspective, most Americans barely get 15 grams of fiber per day, when the recommendation is 25 to 38 grams depending on age and gender. Just 2 tablespoons of chia seeds gives you about 2/3 of the fiber most people eat in an entire day. Why does this matter for diabetes? Fiber slows down digestion and glucose absorption, preventing blood sugar spikes after meals. It also feeds beneficial bacteria in your gut, and emerging research shows that gut health plays a significant role in insulin sensitivity and inflammation. People with healthier, more diverse gut bacteria tend to have better blood sugar control and lower inflammation levels. Fiber-rich foods like chia and flax seeds help cultivate those beneficial bacteria. Both chia and flax seeds are also rich in alpha-linolenic acid, the same omega-3 fat found in walnuts. This helps reduce inflammation throughout your body, which is important because chronic inflammation drives many diabetes complications, including heart disease, nerve damage, and kidney problems. Think of inflammation as a slow-burning fire inside your body. Omega-3 fats help extinguish that fire before it causes permanent damage. Here's a practical tip for using these seeds. Whole flax seeds pass through your digestive system largely intact, so you won't absorb many nutrients unless you grind them first. Buy whole flax seeds to save money and get maximum freshness, then grind small batches in a coffee grinder as needed. Store ground flaxseed in your refrigerator to prevent the oils from going rancid. Chia seeds, on the other hand, don't need to be ground. They form a gel-like consistency when mixed with liquid, which makes them perfect for puddings or as a thickener in smoothies. A simple way to use chia seeds is making overnight chia pudding. Mix 3 tablespoons of chia seeds with 1 cup of unsweetened almond milk or regular milk. Add a dash of cinnamon and vanilla extract and refrigerate overnight. In the morning, you have a creamy, pudding-like breakfast that's high in fiber, protein, and healthy fats with minimal impact on blood sugar. Top it with a few berries or chopped nuts for extra nutrition and flavor. Pumpkin seeds, also called pepitas, are nutritional powerhouses that specifically benefit diabetics. They're one of the richest food sources of magnesium, and as we've discussed, magnesium helps insulin work more effectively and is often deficient in people with diabetes. Pumpkin seeds also provide zinc, which is necessary for insulin production and storage in your pancreas. Without adequate zinc, your pancreas struggles to manufacture and release insulin properly. Research has shown that people who regularly eat pumpkin seeds have improved blood sugar control and better insulin sensitivity. One study found that eating pumpkin seed powder for 12 weeks reduced fasting blood sugar by nearly 20% in people with diabetes. The seeds contain compounds that may help regulate enzymes involved in carbohydrate digestion, slowing the breakdown of complex carbs into simple sugars. Pumpkin seeds are also beneficial for men's health specifically. They support prostate health and may help maintain testosterone levels, which often decline with age and can be further reduced by diabetes and obesity. While this isn't directly related to blood sugar control, maintaining hormonal balance contributes to overall health, energy levels, and quality of life. Sunflower seeds round out our seed category. They're particularly high in vitamin E, which, as we discussed earlier, is a powerful antioxidant that protects cells from oxidative damage. Sunflower seeds also provide selenium, another antioxidant mineral that works synergistically with vitamin E to reduce inflammation and support immune function. The best way to eat seeds is to incorporate them into meals you're already making. Sprinkle ground flaxseed on oatmeal or yogurt. Add chia seeds to smoothies or use them to thicken homemade salad dressing. Toss pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds into salads for extra crunch. Use them as a coating for fish or chicken instead of breadcrumbs. Mix them into homemade trail mix with nuts and a small amount of dark chocolate chips. Here's a practical serving size. For chia and flax seeds, 1 to 2 tablespoons per day provides significant benefits. For pumpkin and sunflower seeds, about 1/4 cup per day is a good target. These amounts give you substantial fiber, healthy fats, and minerals without excessive calories. One consideration with seeds, especially flax and chia, is that they're very high in fiber. If you're not used to eating much fiber, start with smaller amounts and gradually increase over a week or two. Adding too much fiber too quickly can cause digestive discomfort, including gas, bloating, and changes in bowel habits. Also, make sure you're drinking plenty of water when you increase fiber intake, as fiber absorbs water and can cause constipation if you're not adequately hydrated. Seeds are remarkably affordable, especially when bought in bulk. A pound of chia seeds or flax seeds typically costs less than $10 and will last for weeks. Store them in airtight containers in a cool, dark place or in your refrigerator to maintain freshness. Let me know in the comments whether you currently use any of these seeds. If not, which one are you most interested in trying first? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Before we wrap up, I want to emphasize an important point. These three foods, eggs, nuts, and seeds, are not magic solutions that will cure your diabetes. They work as part of an overall healthy eating pattern combined with appropriate medication, regular physical activity, stress management, and adequate sleep. But they can make a meaningful difference in how well your diabetes is controlled and how you feel on a daily basis. Think of diabetes management like maintaining a garden. You can't just plant seeds and walk away expecting a beautiful garden to appear. You need to water regularly, pull weeds, adjust for weather conditions, and provide ongoing care. These three foods are like high-quality fertilizer that gives your plants extra nutrients to thrive. They don't replace the basic maintenance work, but they enhance your results. The beautiful thing about eggs, nuts, and seeds is that they're accessible and affordable for most people. You don't need to shop at expensive health food stores or buy exotic superfoods shipped from halfway around the world. These are common foods available at any grocery store in America, and they provide tremendous nutritional value for relatively little money, which matters when you're living on a fixed income or managing medical expenses. Here's what I want you to do after watching this video. Choose one of these three foods that you're not currently eating regularly and commit to adding it to your diet for the next 2 weeks. If you don't eat eggs, try having 2 eggs for breakfast 3 days this week. If you don't snack on nuts, buy a small bag of almonds or walnuts and have a handful each afternoon. If you've never used chia or flax seeds, pick up a bag and start adding a tablespoon to your morning yogurt or oatmeal. Start with just one change rather than trying to overhaul your entire diet at once. Small, sustainable changes are more likely to stick than dramatic transformations that feel overwhelming. Once that first change becomes a habit, add another one. Over time, these small improvements compound into significant benefits for your health. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Tell me which of these three foods you're going to focus on first, and let me know if you have any concerns or questions about incorporating them into your diet. Your experiences and questions help other viewers who might be dealing with similar challenges. If you found this information valuable, please hit that like button and share this video with someone you know who has diabetes or pre-diabetes. Whether it's a spouse, friend, family member, or someone from your community, this information could help them better manage their condition and reduce their risk of complications. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss future videos on natural approaches to diabetes management, nutrition for older adults, and practical health strategies that actually work in real life, not just in theory. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself, keep monitoring those blood sugars, and remember that the small choices you make every day add up to big results over time. You have more control over your health than you might realize. I'll see you in the next video where we'll explore another important aspect of living well with diabetes. Until then, stay healthy and keep taking positive steps forward.